Hello and welcome back to In Ohio Country Today. I'm Brendan Wilson, and today we celebrate Ohio's pastime, baseball. We're here in Celina, Ohio at the ribbon cutting ceremony for the new grass. With us now is Drew Braun. He's Celina head varsity coach. Will you tell us a little bit about what today is?
Well, today, Brandon, what we're doing is we're having a dedication for our new synthetic infield that we put in on Celina Eastview Park. We have various people from the community here, some Reds, or the Reds organization's here. I believe one of the owners, Mr. Williams, is here also, and Todd Benzinger, Ron Oster's here, and Mo Stanford, and I believe Stephen Larkin's also here, doing a little skills clinic with some of the kids from their area.
So where'd all the funding for all this come from?
Well, we were lucky enough to have Celina Insurance Group and the Montgomery families donate the money to put in the synthetic turf. And also, it wasn't just for the turf. They've got numerous other things of improvements they're going to do here at Eastview Park.
So what teams would be playing on this field right here?
Basically, throughout the year, the varsity team will play here, Celina varsity, Celina JV, Celina freshmen. If we can squeeze it in, we're going to try to get our 8th grade to play here at least once and our 7th grade team. And then during the summer, all of the Celina Acme teams will be playing here.
So what's the difference between this synthetic grass and just regular grass or AstroTurf?
Well, the synthetic grass is a little bit longer. Before they put the rubber fillings in, it was a good 1.5 inches, 2 inches. Then they filled it with rubber till probably about an inch of grass is showing. The difference is it's a little bit faster than grass, but a little bit slower than the AstroTurf. We were out here fielding ground balls on it last week, and the big difference we saw is you don't get many bad bounces out here.
How much rain would this field take, like, if you were playing a game on here?
Well, they tell me that supposedly the only way we'll get rained out is if there's any lightning out here or the outfield floods. We were, I believe, last week in Celina, we got 2.5 inches of rain, and we were out on the field within a half hour after it stopped raining taking ground balls. And it wasn't wet at all. The balls weren't getting wet, and it was dry. So that's going to be a huge advantage to the Celina baseball program because I don't think we're going to have many home rainouts.
So how much water do you think this field can actually take?
That I don't know. A lot. We've got a lot of rain the last few days, and look at it now. It's dry, and we're ready to play on it once we get the sod laid.
Well, congratulations on the new field, and good luck next season.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me, Brendan.
Welcome back to In Ohio Country Today. With us now is Bill Montgomery from Celina Insurance Group. And Bill, a very special moment here today here in Celina, the new dedication of Montgomery Field. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, geez, how about that? Quite an honor, obviously. It's a red-letter day in Celina. The good Lord blessed us with terrific weather, and the turnout was, you saw it, lots of people here, a lot of kids. The Cincinnati Reds, it couldn't have gone any better, really. I laid awake last night, I'll be honest, but it all came together, and we're happy to be able to share our prosperity.
Bill, as far as country is concerned, obviously we've got a field here that's not quite natural. Tell us a little bit about this.
Well, and I'm a traditionalist. I had to get over that. The old Philadelphia Philly White Sox. Dick Allen once said, "If a horse can't eat it, I don't want to play on it." And that's always the way I looked at it. But it became so obvious to me that the technology had advanced to the stage where you could really get a grass-like experience without all the hassles of maintenance. This field will hold 15 inches of water in a 24-hour period. So, outside of lightning or hail, we'll be playing ball here all the time.
Bill, everybody who knows you knows how much of a baseball fan you are, and to do something like this is probably not out of character for you. But the ceremony that we had here today, the people we had here today, you got to give credit where credit is due. I mean, you did a terrific job of pulling this off, but let's give thanks to the people who came here today, too.
Absolutely. Nothing happens in a vacuum, and I do think I acknowledge them as friends and neighbors, and that's who they are, and I appreciate it.
Well, Bill Montgomery from Celina Insurance Group, one of our fine sponsors here on In Ohio Country Today. Next time you're in Celina, come on and stop by Montgomery Field. It's the old Eastview Park here in Celina near the old Huffy plant. You can't miss it. You'll love it. and you'll enjoy it. And Bill, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
Bill Montgomery from Celina Insurance. We'll be back with more in Ohio Country Today right after this. With us now is Daniel Pritt from Athletic Alliance, who's responsible for putting this lovely field down here at the new Montgomery Field here in Celina. Tell us a little bit about the environmental differences between this and natural grass.
Well, first of all, this does have an aquifer of 8 inches of stone put in underneath the field itself. Now, that right there is a filter system. It allows the water to percolate and go out through the tiling that is underneath all aspects of this field. Now, everything is self-contained. You don't have, this is a sand rubber infill, so it does take on recyclable rubber material and helps use up some of those tires without metal, without some caustic stuff inside. But this is the 4th generation of fields today. You've heard of the old AstroTurf. That was as hard as concrete, okay? So anyway, the bottom line here is this is the 4th generation, and the 5th generation is just coming out next summer. We tried to get that here, but it's still in research and development, and they won't give a sign-off as far as the scientists until sometime August 1st. And that is where you don't have any rubber or sand infill, and it's all synthetic grass, and then you have the pad underneath it, underneath the system.
Now, I guess the biggest thing that we need to talk about is maintenance. Obviously, there's no fertilizers. You don't have to worry about cutting it. You don't have to worry about maintaining it from a personnel standpoint. So there's cost savings all across the board for not only parks and recreation facilities throughout Ohio and the country, for that matter, but also for city facilities such as this.
Yes, that's one of the reasons that the city of Celina looked into this, and also the Montgomery family. The bottom line is it's not maintenance free. It does reduce your maintenance, and I tell you what, it's really nice to come out here and only have to address the pitcher's mound and to brush it once a month. So it does save on maintenance.
Daniel Pritt from Athletic Alliance in Marysville. And we'll be back with more in Ohio Country Today right after this. Welcome back to In Ohio Country Today. With us now is State Senator Keith Faber. And Keith, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Basically, we're here in beautiful Celina, Ohio, at the dedication of the new Montgomery Field here in Celina. And I know it's a little off base as far as farming is concerned, but nonetheless, it's an interesting project, and it's nice to see the fine people, one of our co-sponsors of In Ohio Country Today, Celina Insurance Group, sponsoring something like this.
It's a great event. It's a great field. It's great for the community, representing a great area in west central Ohio. These are the kind of things that still make it a great place to live, work, and raise a family, and we're just real fortunate to have great contributors like Celina Insurance Group and the Montgomery family.
Well, obviously, you know, there's a lot of things that are happening as far as country or agriculture is concerned, and basically what I wanted to talk to you about was not having the opportunity to be down at the forum for Congressman Boehner. Tell us a little bit about what happened down there and some of the results of conversations with farmers and the people who were there and the speakers that were there.
Well, they had, as you know, the director of the Department of Agriculture was there. One of the interesting things that's being discussed is the new Farm Bill and what that means. Other things obviously being discussed out there that are very important to farmers and people right here in west central Ohio are what exactly are we going to be focusing on in the farm economy. Things such as ethanol, is that going to change the farm dynamic? What are we going to be doing for crop prices and countercyclical payments? Are we going to be looking at a future where we have to really change the dynamic for Ohio farmers to continue to be successful?
With the aspect of the new Farm Bill coming up, I know that as far as a national policy is concerned, there's a lot that goes into it. And I know that Congressman Boehner and other individuals such as yourself are really trying to help him focus on that. As far as our area is concerned, besides ethanol, what are some of the more pressing issues that we're looking at?
Well, as you know, I happen to represent the #1 ag district in the state of Ohio. When we look at all of the issues, livestock are certainly an issue, and that's one of the concerns you have with the ethanol. You want to make sure that both the livestock producers and the grain farmers can be successful in an era where we start having a lot more demand for our agricultural products, particularly corn. That's a good thing for Ohio. We just need to make sure we balance that with some of the byproducts, the DDGs and other things, trying to get those in the livestock stream. The other thing farmers are always concerned about are anything that affects affects them by way of government. Regulation and regulatory reform is something that affects the farmer just as much as it does the corporation. And so that's one of the reasons I'm working so hard on regulatory reform in the State House. But when we talk about agriculture, you can't talk about agriculture and not talk about West Central Ohio. We've got successful farms because we've got successful families. And most of our farms in this area are family farms. And we look forward to having just generations of success.
Do you see any changes as far as taxes are concerned on family farms, or any changes statewide that will affect the financial security of some of these family farms?
We're still trying to work for the phase-out and elimination of the Ohio estate tax. One of the most onerous things you do is when you're trying to pass your farm on to your family, that you're hit with a very large tax that you have to figure out how you're going to pay for. And so that's certainly important. We're also trying to look at some other issues as to how the CAT tax is affecting agriculture and agribusiness. Value-added agriculture is the key to Ohio's success in the future. We need to make sure that whatever we do doesn't adversely affect value-added agriculture.
Very good. Senator Keith Faber. And Keith, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us. It's always a pleasure to see you out in Celina.
And we'll be back with more In Ohio Country Today right after this.